Hey guys, Robert McClellan here from Home Studio Simplified. Today we're going to be doing a plugin demo / review of the Kilohearts plugins from the Kilohearts company. They've been around for just a little bit and they haven't really got their feet off the ground yet here in the States. So they've reached out to some fellow YouTubers and audio engineers alike, and I was chosen to be one of those, and they graciously poured all of their plugins on me, which was about $500 worth of plugins, and allowed me to review those and demo those and actually keep them. So that was super nice of them guys, so kudos to Kilohearts. And I'll try to do my best to do an accurate representation of what the plugins are capable of. I know I won't be able to cover every one of their plugins, or at least to any great depth, but they do have free downloadable trials that you can go and try these out. Nonetheless, a little bit of a background so that you know exactly how I'm demoing these. So I thought it would be a kind of a cool challenge to do an entire project by using only their plugins. Now, I am, as you can see here, I am using the stock EQs that are included within my program, which is Sonar Platinum. I will be using the stock EQs on those. However, every other plugin instance that I'll be using, including those that are on my buses, are going to be the Kilohearts plugins instances. So, a little bit of background on that. Now, how was the actual tracks recorded? So, the lead vocal, now this was all thrown together very quickly, so please excuse the vocals, but and actually the timing and everything on this. But I threw this together really quickly and tried to include a wide variety so you could see exactly what these would be capable of. The lead vocals were recorded with a Blue Spark microphone. I am singing Lord Help Us All. The guitars, all of the guitars, the bass, they're all DI into the front of my Focusrite 6i6. And then I use their plugin instances to try to liven them up and make them sound more like they were amped. And then on the acoustic guitar itself, this instance here that you'll be listening to is mic'd, and this instance has been DI'd, and they're blended together. So, and the acoustic guitar was also recorded with the Blue Spark microphone. And then all of the plugins that are used on the tracks, yet again, are the Kilohearts plugins. So let's listen to what it would sound like without any of the plugin instances. I'm going to go ahead and remove the vocals just so you can kind of get a feel for that without having to be subjected to that. So here we go. So everything sounds very dry, very DI-ish, if that's a word. Now let's go ahead and introduce the Kilohearts plugins. I'll reintroduce the vocals, not willingly, but it must need to be done. So here we go.
Sometimes I feel so alone when these chains seem too much to bear. So I make my way to your throne, the closest friend, you're always there. And though it seems as if I'll never win and everyone's against me, I know that you are for me, so I need you to save me from myself. I can't do this on my own. Lord, you know I need your help as I come before your throne.
there's just a really quick demonstration of the before and after, going from your raw DI tracks and then into something where I'm using their plugin instances to make it a little bit more lively. Now, I just showed you the console view, and as you can see here, there's a ton of their plugins are actually being used, and there's a whole lot of sends that are going out to their reverb units. Within each one of these that are labeled multipass, there's actually plugin instances within those, and we'll get into that later. And then within this one here at the end, I believe it's called Snaphead. Yes. There's several different plugin instances inside of it as well, within the one plugin. So if I had to guess, I would say there's probably 45 to 50, possibly even 60 plugin instances in use currently. Now when I press play, look at what the performance is. So we've got 22 full tracks, plus my bus channel, my master fader, and the performance was hardly even affected by these plugins. Now this is one of the things that they boast the most about, is the fact that their plugins they're not very RAM happy. They don't take up a lot of real estate when it comes to, they don't bog your computer down. They still leave the speed there when you're trying to do things. If you're going to mix through them, I believe it would be a lot easier to do that with these instances, just simply because, as you're going to see, they don't put a lot of bells and whistles into them. They're just very straightforward. They do exactly what they say. For instance, I'll start in here with the electric guitar. So I've got the electric guitar, which by itself is just a DI source, and I'll show you what that sounds like by itself. So that's just a straight DI source there. Now what I did to liven that up a little bit, threw a send on there, sent it to the medium plate and the long haul, and then I added this plugin instance here that's called phase distortion. Now you'll notice one thing about these plugins is they're not real flashy, but they do exactly what they say they do. So, and each time that you hover over a knob, it tells you exactly what you're adjusting. Another great feature about these plugins, and I'm not just saying this because they gave me their plugins. I mean, I genuinely like these plugins. They're so simple to understand. They all have what's called a mix knob. So you have a dry, wet mix of exactly what you're sending, what you're hearing, take effect. So if I was to play this with all of these plugins involved, gives it more of an amp, more of an ampy room sound, this phase distortion, in combination with the reverbs, but I can mix that. So very cool concept that all of their plugins have that mix knob. Now there is a couple of their plugins, I shouldn't say all of their plugins, most all of their plugins where it would be useful, they have a mix knob there. Now there are plugins like, say for instance, their tape stop, which by the way is a really cool plugin just for effect wise on a vocal or something like that. So if I was to play this, now that one does not have a mix knob. Obviously it doesn't need a mix knob, but yet again, straightforward tape stop. What's it do? Oh, it sounds like a tape stopping. Very cool effect. Yet again, doesn't eat up a lot of space on your memory, your hard drive, anything like that. So very cool. Let's move on to another instance here. Like I said, I won't be able to cover all of these, but at least I'll get to show you some of the ones that I've used in this mix, and then you can go and download the trials later and see what you can do with them. So on this one here, I've used Chorus. Yet again, straightforward, tells you exactly what it does. I haven't mixed the full-blown thing in here. using the reverb yet again. Let's hear what this sounds like. So I dialed it back to around 70 here. So I'm getting just a little bit of that in there. Okay, so Cort sounds really good, by the way, especially for a plug-in instance. A lot of times they can kind of miss the mark, but that sounds like a very, very good chorus. Almost is reminiscent of a Boss chorus pedal that I used to have, actually, the stereo chorus pedal by Boss. So now, when you put these two instances together with the plugins, and that's a long way from the DI sound that we had to begin with. So we're going to move right along. I guess it would be beneficial actually for you to see what the reverb looks like that I'm using here, because I'm sending these to reverb units, so to speak. So typically in almost every mix I have a short room, a medium plate, and a long haul. I've used the same reverb on all of these, just the settings have differed. So here's my short room, here's my long haul, or my medium plate, sorry, and then my long haul. And all I've done is just simply adjusted the size, the decay, and the width of those, and then just kind of adjusted those accordingly. Now let's move on to the electrical lead. Yet again, another DI source, using a little bit of a compressor, simply like I would if it was on my pedal board, and some distortion. This is a really cool distortion plugin, though. Unlike a lot of the other ones out there, there's several different instances here that you can bring up, but then it has this dynamics knob, which can actually allow you to bring back the dynamics. To preserve those dynamics, you can preserve them by turning this up or down. You can either take away all dynamics or preserve those dynamics, but still have the saturation or the overdrive effect that you're looking for. Yet again, mix knob, totally cool. You can also turn up the spread of this, which will give it a stereo. It's a false stereo width, but it's a stereo width nonetheless. So I'm using that and the reverb plates yet again. Okay, so obviously you heard the delay on there. I'm using their delay plugin here, which simply is entitled Delay. Yet again, super simple, super easy to use. The thing I love about this plugin, though, is it has this duck feature, which is super cool. It's actually one that I had suggested other plugin companies to use. There's another plugin company that has one like it that works very well as well. But this one here, very simple. When the duck is utilized, the louder parts will cause that delay to duck behind those louder parts, and then whenever it grows softer, the delay will come up in volume. So it's almost like you have an instance of a side-chained delay that's happening, but instead of using two plugins or several instances of plugins to get that to happen, you just simply have that one delay that does that for you. Very cool. So that's what that sounds like. All right, let's go straight to the acoustic guitar. So this instance was recorded with the Blue Spark about 12 inches away from the neck, where the neck and the body meet, 12 inches away. And then this is the DI source that was recorded alongside of it at the same time. I'm using a little bit of compression, and then this filter, which is basically just an EQ that you can use as a low pass, a band pass, high pass. You can use it surgically to notch things out. A low shelf, a peak, which is like a bell curve, or a high shelf. Super simple yet again. Does what it's supposed to do. I just cut out some offending frequencies in the recorded version, the mic'd version I should say. This is what you get. So nothing super fancy there, but it makes the acoustic guitar sound really good. I got the main amount of that going straight up the middle, and then I'm sending the left portion of this to my reverbs and the right portion of the DI to my reverbs as well. So it's got its stereo width, but I didn't want it to inhabit, all of the stereo field. Also, something that's going on here is I'm using their virtual instrument called the Kilohearts 1. And this is a really cool virtual instrument, as you can see. We love you too. It's more for like dance type stuff, but you can use it in any instance. I used it here in this for this series. Sorry about that. It's very cool. Now what I did here is on the top track, which is this one here, so essentially what I did is I used the same MIDI file here, just simply copied and pasted it up here, drug it out as long as I needed it, recorded it as stereo audio, and I added, just some various different effects to that. One thing I used is the snap head. Whole lot of stuff going on in this plugin. I can actually attribute different areas of this to these LFOs to make it do what I would ask it to do. I've just simply loaded up a factory preset, and there's shimmering reverbs is the one that I used here. There's all kinds of different factory presets, and then you can go through there and load up your own instances or make your own and save them as patches later. So many cool effects that can be used there, and it does essentially what the what's it called? Multipass. Sorry, does exactly what multipass does. Now this is the one plugin I could probably spend an entire 30 minutes on just by itself, but I'm just going to go real quickly, and then you can let your imagination run wild. But this plugin is amazing. So once you have several instances of their plugins, you can use this multipass, which is like a plugin patch bay pretty much. What's crazy is it can be utilized on the frequency spectrum itself. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'll go to my bass guitar, which is one area that I love to use this plugin, and then so as you can see in this middle area here, this middle section, I'm seeing the frequency spectrum, and then I can add plugin instances to only those areas of that frequency, and all of their plugins will come up whenever so if I want to just, as I've done here, just add the Faturator, which is a pretty cool name for a saturation plugin. If I want to just add that to the low end, which is 145 hertz and below, I can do that. And I can adjust this wherever I'd like, and it will affect only that area of the frequency spectrum. So right now, 141 hertz and below, I'm adding the Faturator to only that area. And I can solo just that area to hear exactly what it's doing. So if I was to take that away, it doesn't sound so fat anymore. The cool thing about using this on a bass source is I always have a limiter on my bass anyway, to keep it up front, to keep it solid in the mix. And now on my post-effects side, I can actually add a limiter, and you can do this with anything. You can also do pre-effects. You can drive it into things, or you can drive something into another something. What's even crazier about this is all of these knobs and all of these values and the mix knobs and everything within this can all be linked to a macro. So I can link any of these knobs to this one knob and have this one knob affect 100 knobs if I want it to. And then I can set that to be linked into this to where it can fluctuate over time. Or it can be synced to my DAW. So it would fluctuate on the beat. That saturation would fluctuate on the beat. There's so many crazy things that this plugin can be used for. So let your imagination run wild with this one. I mean, there's just so many cool things that this can be used for. I also like this as well. This is just an extra added benefit. This area right here is going to show me the pitch at which it's being used. And then it shows you this keyboard where you can actually see it. Like I said, I could go, there's so many things that this plugin in itself is capable of, but you have to have the other instances of the plugins to make this one really useful. If you only have one or two of their plugins, that's great, but if you want to make this useful, you really need a lot of their plugins that you can throw in here. So just real quickly, I know this has been a real quick demo / review, but I'm hoping you can kind of see that there's a lot going on within these plugins, and although they don't have, you know, all of the blings, the bells, and the whistles, they do exactly what they're supposed to do, and they don't eat up a lot of hard drive or RAM space. So they could definitely be useful in very dense mixes. They're also very cheap and affordable, and they just work. Another good instance where this multipass is being used, I've got a low cut filter notching out a little bit here, got a just a little bit of reverb going on over the entire mix, just in these areas, 347 hertz to 431 kilohertz. And then I've got this transient shaper up in the highs, limiter on the entire mix to get it up to speed. All of that was on one instance of a plugin on my master fader. Okay, so lots of cool stuff going on here. I wish I had time to go over every single one of the plugins, but I don't. This video would become way too long, but I've showed you a few of them at least. As you can see here, there's the Trance Gate. That would be another one, great one. I'll just demo real quick, especially for dance styles. You can set the resolution to 1/64th, or go all the way down to 1/8. And here's what's cool. I can set this to and then I can actually block out or color in places I want to be. So the blue is the area where it's heard, the gray is the area it's not. Very cool. So you can make your own tremolo effect, or if you want to go all crazy, make your own chorus sounding effect. But there's so many, like I said, so many things that these could be useful for. Now, I've said all of that to say this. I did receive their plugins for free, and I like them so much that I decided to become an affiliate. What that basically means is if you buy any of their plugins using the link that I'll include in the description below, I'll get a little bit of a kickback at no extra cost to you. However, if you do use the link below, you'll get a kickback because all of the purchases that you make within your first purchase, so everything that's in your cart on your first purchase only, you'll get an extra 5% off just by using the affiliate link that I've given you. So, and if that doesn't work, if it's acting like it doesn't want to work, then please email me before you make the purchase and let me know, and I'll get with them. But they have promised me that they would do that for me, so that those of you who are watching who decide that you do want to purchase, then you'll get an extra little kickback as well. So you're going to get 5% off your entire purchase, your first purchase, I should say, of any of the plugin instances that you buy by using the link below, and then I in turn will get a small portion of that, those proceeds will come to me free of charge to you. So I would encourage you to go and download them, at least demos of them, and try them and see if you even like them first. I think you will. I think you're going to see that they're very, very useful. And hopefully this has been useful. If there's any questions that you might have, or there's anything that you would like seen covered, please put that in the comment section below the video. And if there's any questions you have about maybe other products that they could come out with, or ways to make their plugins better, include that in the comment section below too. I do have an open dialogue with these individuals, and in fact, I'm getting ready to do an interview with one of their representatives, and I'd love to bring your questions to the table and have them answer them live on the podcast. So, guys, I hope this has been useful. If it has been, let me know by subscribing, by liking, by sharing the video, and by leaving comments in the comments section below. I'll talk to you all later. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.